So hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of the IPPi Insider. We're here with Nagle from Global Properties. So Con, you're more than welcome to join.
Kenneth, thank you.
How well there at all. So how are you getting on? How's the market performing for you in Cork?
The market is, as we all know, is very interesting. We're here now towards the end of August, and we're just, I suppose, getting ready, hoping that there'll be a lot of property come on the market. Our big problem here in Cork at the moment is we do not have enough properties for sale. We have not been affected by people failing to get their mortgage or having troubles with their mortgage coming through in the city. It might be different in a country area, but at the moment we're doing very well. Plenty mortgage approved people, no property. That's our problem.
And in terms of where you see it percentage, you know, let's say in the city, has there been a massive discount in property, or do you think it's tiered across different price bands?
No, we've seen very few discounts. I suppose when we had sale agreed prior to COVID, a lot of those people looked for a discount. We'll close if we get £5,000 off, we'll close if we get 10,000 off. We ended up giving none of them anything off, full stop. When we sat down and explained to purchasers that yes, maybe you are paying 5,000 too much, maybe. We won't know that for a year until we see what happens to market. But think of it now. How do you think the banks are doing? Do you think you'll get mortgage approval in 6 months' time if you pull out of this? The banks are not doing great, people are saying. We may not get mortgage approval again. We're paying €1,500 a month at the moment in rent. Our mortgage will be €1,100 a month. We'll drive on and we look at it at the end of the year whether we were right or wrong. So a lot of people decide to drive on that by buying their mortgage was going to be a lot less than their rent, so they proceeded.
If you look at, I've read obviously some of your pieces in terms of tips. What tips would you say you could give, you know, people looking to sell or purchase in the current conditions?
I suppose it's all about being prepared. All the agents in Ireland would know one of the biggest problems we have at the moment is when you sale agree a house and the seller looks to get the title deeds from the bank. It's taking some banks 5 and 6 weeks to get the title deeds back, and then the solicitor can't send out the contracts. So tip number one is the minute the property goes on the market, you must get the title documents from your bank. Get your solicitor to get them. Once you have that, you have power, you have control. Then I suppose, just be prepared. Again, we're finding what's working very much for us is we do Matterport 3Ds on virtual tours on most of our properties. People love them. People can view the house from at home. People are very busy, and they're going to get busier now when children go back to school. They're busy at work, busy driving from A to B. So if they can get a full virtual tour and then decide, yes, we like this house, it's worth our while going to see this house. We're finding that brilliant. It's cutting way down a number of viewings. It's cutting down massively a number of wasted viewings, and quality of the viewer is absolutely outstanding, ready to rock and roll. So that's what I'd really recommend.
You're nearly vetting the client throughout it with digital marketing. So they're seeing it online. You're nearly vetting them through the process of, let's say, whether they're ready to go or they're serious, rather than just the window shoppers you see from time to time, just nearly wasting your time.
Yes, but I suppose very much in this COVID environment, which is going to be with us for a couple of years, we want to protect all our sellers. Our seller doesn't want 20 people coming through the house when maybe with 5 viewers you can get a sale. So they see the advantage of the virtual tour. And then with that, it obviously suits us to have less viewers. We will insist, if we have the virtual tour done on the property, we will insist on the viewer confirming that they have viewed the virtual tour. Like, if they won't spend the 5 minutes looking at it online, why should we waste half an hour to show them the house?
Exactly, yeah.
So nobody has had a problem with that.
Yeah.
So the standard of the viewer is just unbelievable, and they're coming. Some viewers are coming. We really just want to see the master bedroom. We've seen all the other rooms very well. We want to see how the wardrobe fits in with the whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, things that we would have heard of 5 years ago. Yeah. But the virtual tour, they've seen enough. They've seen a lot.
That takes the conversation on quite well in terms of, like, technology has really sped up this whole process of, you know, from some agents who may have been not so in tune with technology. We were nearly forced, all of us as an industry, which is great, to innovate together. And I think it has brought a lot of, you know, tech and agency closer together. Would you have any view on that?
Yes, it's been interesting. If in February you or I told somebody I'll Zoom call you at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you set up a time. He's nuts. You know, normally we used to say, we'll ring you around 10 o'clock. But with the Zoom call, it's 10. It's a minute past 10. It's not quarter past 10.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant for efficiencies. I'm able to tell some of my sellers now when I'm giving them updates and all that, I'll ring you at 10 on Friday morning to give you our weekly update, and I'll be within 5 minutes of that. And they're getting used to that consistency. Whereas before, it used to be, I'll ring you on Friday morning. Morning is anytime from 9 o'clock till 12 or 1, like.
Yeah.
Whereas now they're getting a 5 or 10 minute, they know I'm going to ring them.
So you're automating your diary, basically, and it's more efficient for you as well.
Yeah, that's the word you use. It's just amazing. A word I didn't know how to spell before. But now I'll be able to, automate, much more organised. And the tools out there, tools that you've introduced me to as well, are absolutely brilliant for saving time, automating, managing. There's with selling a house, as you know, it's a bit juggling sometimes. There's a lot of things that must go together, but if everything is done right digitally and with automation, things move along a lot smoother. People out there are not too worried how we communicate with them. Once we do communicate with them, once they get the message, hello Mary, I had 3 viewings of your house this week. Unfortunately, none of them are going to buy, but look, good news, I have 2 more lined up for next week. If they get that on a Zoom call, a telephone call, a text or an email, they're not majorly worried once they get it.
Brilliant point, yeah. You mean it needs to be 5 or 6 different sources that you can handle, because everyone's different.
Yes.
You know, and you must say your ability to communicate on multiple different mediums is, there's not a huge amount doing that, so it's very commendable to see. Where do you see, let's say, the next 3 months, 4 months going for yourself, and what you would like to achieve? Obviously you want more sales. Where would you see the market moving to, or you as a business moving to? Are you going to put more emphasis on anything, or?
Yeah, we've always been a firm that has done a lot of new houses. We've sold a lot of new houses, dealt with a lot of developers. We're working hard in that space to get land for developers. Developers then, I suppose, as we all know, are having problems. The big problem these days is Irish water, getting the land serviced, basically. But there is very strong demand in Cork for new homes, and the new Help to Buy grant of being increased to 10% for first time buyers is a massive plus. But we need more houses, and a lot of the houses in Cork City are too expensive for the first time buyer. It's different in different parts of the country, but in Cork, a 3-bedroom semi in the city, brand new, is making about 365 to 380. That's actually too expensive for an awful lot of first time buyers in Cork. And then some of the other new houses are 500,000 detached houses. They're not a first time buyer, so they're not going to benefit from the grant. But what we need is a lot more starter out houses in Cork. Demand is there. We've some massive employers down here. We just mentioned Apple a few minutes ago in a private conversation we were having earlier. They have 5,000 or 6,000 employees in Cork City. Dell, VMware, out in Ballincollig on the western fringe of the city, again 5,000 employees. Take the airport business park, take the other businesses inside the city. We have a very vibrant community in Cork, and a lot of these people now working in these companies are in Cork 5, 7 or 8 years. A lot of them have decided, we're staying now. We don't want to rent anymore, we want to buy. And the property isn't there for them to buy. So it's a problem. I'd love to see apartments coming up for sale in Cork. Unfortunately, like in Dublin, that's not going to happen. They're going to be bought out by a fund that buys 50 units to rent. I suppose the developer can't really sell them to 50 different individuals. The forward funding of that is not available. So that's going to be a problem with the market. But again, something we as property professionals need to keep looking at, keep trying to find solutions. That's our job, quite simple. Find solutions. Where we have jobs, people need houses. As an auctioneer, I'm not worried whether they buy it or whether they rent it. It's a transaction that we're involved in. Yeah. So we're haunted in Cork. We have jobs, so people need houses. And they need our service. It's up to me then, with your help, Kenneth, to tell them all that our service is the best in Cork. So they should contact me, not somebody else. Yeah.
And on to then, let's say your biggest learnings from the last couple of months. What have you personally learned within the business? It's seen huge huge change.
Yeah, communication is one of the most important things. All our sellers, when COVID came along, didn't know what was going on. They still wanted to sell. Life moves on for a lot of people regardless of this pandemic. People's circumstances are changing. People are moving houses for 101 reasons. Unfortunately, some are bad news stories, be it death, be it marriage, separation, or anything like that. Some are very good news stories. A new child coming along, a new relationship, all these things. But life keeps moving on. So people, communicate with people, keep in touch with them, keep in touch with what they want. If they want to sell, they want to sell, and they just want to know that we are doing our best to get their house sold. I think that's what we learned very much.
Brilliant. And then I'd say give me some predictions. Let's do a prediction on the property market down in Cork over the next. Where do you see it? Do you see it taking a hit? Do you see?
I might be wrong, but I believe the market in Cork between now and Christmas is going to go up 1 or 2%. Mainly driven by two things. One, we have jobs, and two, we don't have enough property.
Yeah.
That is the problem we have down here. I don't see any builders, developers going to be able to build or develop enough houses for people in the short term in Cork. Short term being 2 or 3 years. And that's causing the problem. Again, we're not 100% worried whether prices go up or prices go down. It makes no difference. Estate agents, other than property management, but lettings and sales are transaction. We want the number of transactions to go up, not necessarily the price to go up or down. That doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, and then if you were to put, let's say, your developer hat on for a second, say, right, what's the solution? What's the solution within? Because this is happening all around Ireland. It's not just happening in Cork. It's happening in counties, surrounding Cork, nearly up in Dublin. The same. It's a crisis. It is a problem.
It is. The big problem we're having down here is services. Irish water. That's the big problem. Getting water there, or getting the sewer lined up. That's causing a very big problem here in Cork at the moment. Irish water needs funding. Irish water needs the ability to bring the water to the development and the sewer away from the development. I suppose Irish water is something we, the people, decided that we don't want to pay water charges, and they have not been funded enough to do this. Infrastructure is vital. Without water, without sewer, you have no house.
Okay, guys, well, listen, you've heard it from himself. Thanks a million for your time again. It's been a pleasure to come down, and we will leave Con's details in the comments. And if anyone wants to reach out to him, or if he's got any further information on, or you need any further information on the property market in Cork, there's no better man to contact. So, thanks a million, Con.
Kenneth, thank you too. Pleasure.